Hi everyone, it's Shell from Shell Crochet. Welcome to my June 2023 crochet podcast. Let's talk finished objects and whips. How are you today? I hope you're all doing well. So June has gone, or almost gone. Today is Wednesday, June the 29th. I had to think about that for a sec, and I just wanted to try to get this done today, which means we will not be having a finished temperature blanket in this podcast, but you'll get to see it in July, and I'll also show you how much I've made so far for June. And let's just jump right on in. We're going to start with some little things and move on from there.
Hey guys, just a sneak peek of what's left in my cart from my temperature blanket with about 2 weeks to go. So there's lots of yarn here still. I don't expect there'll be too much of the white because the white's also going to be the border, but I'm already thinking a poncho. Anyway, back to our regularly scheduled programming.
I knew I was going to forget something. I forgot to talk about the temperature blanket because it was on my cart. So we'll leave the big reveal for next time, but you can see the 4 rows of white. So then we had the first week of June after that, the second week of June, the third week of June, and I'm about to start the 4th week of June. So it is Wednesday today, and I will get those temperatures and add them in. For June, I have that extra week that I just make up based on the averages, and I will add all that in. I will do the border, and it will be a finished object in July. Okay, guys, back to our regularly scheduled programming. I had every intention of working on some motifs like I was talking about to keep away from the thicker projects for the warmer weather, which it is warm here in Ontario, Canada. Temperatures have been good. Like, it's been great for spring. It thrust us into hot summer, but we've had hot days as well. And we have been getting the smoke from the wildfires on and off. We have another advisory today. But for the most part, it's just kind of come and gone. There was 1 week where there was quite a bit of it, but it's come and gone quite a bit. And yeah, it's just a little nutty that the fires are so crazy this year, and I just hope everyone is staying safe. Anyway, back to the crochet. So I had one of these blocks done way back in January, and I had got all this yarn on clearance last year for $2 a skein. It's Loops and Threads Stripes, which there's a story about in a sec. But one of them I had already made granny squares from. And originally I thought, oh, how many granny squares can I get per skein? Let's make a blanket and use it all together. It's really colorful yarn. And then I decided I've done that already, so let's try C2C blocks because I've never made a blanket out of C2C blocks before. So I had to take out the granny squares that were done, and we got a second block out of that. Look at all the ends because of the fact that there were 3 granny squares made. And I was able to make this entire one and trim it, which I wanted, right? I wanted this on here because I have a neutral color picked out already. But this one, it didn't finish. And this has happened to me before. It's happened to me with Bernat Pop Cakes. And they don't work up the same way. Now, fortunately, the block part is done. So I will be deciding sort of as I work through the blanket project, whether I'm gonna bake the color to go around the outside or just add the border color in from here. Because it's a neutral. So far, I've just picked a creamy color out for like a creamy white color for the border, solid. But when I picked a second color to keep going, this is what happened. So there's 2 skeins of each color. And these are, let's get these ones first before I tell you the saga. So Impeccable Speckled Stripes. That's what I thought I purchased 2 of each that were left on clearance last year. So that's 2 more, and there's 2 of each of those. So specs, I don't even know if they have these anymore because they're rebranding the Loops and Threads stuff, right? It says 3 ounces, 85 grams, and it says 160 yards, 146 meters. However, when I went to pick out my second color to keep going, I picked up this yarn. And I thought it was the same thing, but it is not. So we'll do the one for you, one for me thing. This is just impeccable. And it doesn't say anything else on it, but this works up like a variegated yarn. Nice short color changes, but no stripes. So where's my little... This is when I realized it wasn't working out the same way. So unfortunately, I don't think I can keep this one in the project because all the other ones are gonna look so stripy, but I loved these colors because all the colors are kind of wild, and there is like a neutrally one in there too, but I thought they were just gonna go together nicely with this solid that I picked out and just be a fun, colorful blanket. But I'm hesitant to use this because I know it's gonna be such a different look. Now, if a bunch of them had been like this and we were interchanging the two, I think it would be fine, but I think this guy is gonna have to have a new life. I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know what, but we'll see. So therefore I was a little disappointed and I did not make any more blocks. I just kind of left that alone. Yeah, so I just left it alone and I didn't work on it any further, but I don't know. That happens, I guess. It's too bad that I didn't find more of what is just like a variegated type of loops and threads at the time, but I didn't. So on to the next. I've been seeing bucket hats everywhere. And so I made a couple. This one was based on Crystal from Bag O Day. Oh, congrats to everyone who participated in Crystal's contest. I did not get a chance to make a project where I was going to design something myself, but I did want to do a little Bag O Day something this month, so I picked out her bucket hat from years ago. This one I made it for me, so I should be able to put this on for you. And let me find the back. And just a nice loose bucket hat. It's a little difficult to get used to this style of a hat. I'm more used to the structure that you make when you do the cotton hats with tight single crochets and then make a bit of a brim or a floppy brim if you like. But this is just very loose, and I still like it, and it's breathable because it's got all the holes in here, and I've worn it outside a couple of times, and we'll see how it goes. And this is made with Bernat Handicrafter Stripey in the colorway Denim, and I do like it quite a bit, and I have quite a bit of it. So it goes from like a very light cream to a beige to light blue to a couple different versions of a denim-y blue. And yeah, so that's mine. And then I just winged another one myself. Started with the solid crown, and then I did a granny style version. And I did not use a pattern for this, and this one's way too small for me. This one does not fit me. And I did a bit of a tighter brim so that when you do want to sort of put it on and then fix the brim a little bit, this part will stay a little bit more. But those were fun and easy, and one cake of this stripey will do a hat. This has, I think, more open stitches in it and a bigger hook, so I pretty much used a cake on each of these. I might have had a little bit of a scrap left from this, but it was at the beginning of the month, so I don't really remember. And I didn't do a very good job taking clips this month, so I like taking the clips and then inserting them here and there because it helps me remember what I did. Anyway, these were my ode to bucket hats for summer 2023. If you have any questions, let me know. We've got some more work on the flowers. Okay, so these are the two, I have two of these. These are the little baskets I'm using for me, and I think I showed them to you last month with a few flowers in them. And I made dirt. So I didn't have any real fun eyelash yarns to use for how Chris has been doing it with the grassy look at the bottom. So I took a dark brown yarn and a camo yarn that I had a little bit of a scrap left of. And I thought it would be fun to have the green poking through, because if you look out in the garden, a lot of the time you'll see that green stuff growing through. And I mean, once the flowers are actually in the basket, I mean, the point is not the bottom, right? The point is the flowers that are coming out of it. But anyway, mine are still a work in progress. There's a reason for that. You can probably see it, but anyway, I'll talk more about it in a sec. So I made two of those rectangular shaped ones for my two baskets. And then I had these hanging baskets that all along my intention of was to use them as gifts, but I didn't exactly know what for. I just found them, I thought they were nice. I could put a plant in it. And then this whole crochet flower thing started, so I have a gift as well. But so there's 2 round as well, made the same way. So just like a big hook, I think I probably used about a 7mm. Just 'cause I wanted it to stay nice and tight for this project, so not too much was gonna show through it. The reason I'm going like this, I'm not so sure if I bought the right stuff for the flowers. It's very, I don't know, it's got a weird texture to it, and it's not very easy to poke the sticks in there. And I know they're supposed to stay and stuff, but there's 2 kinds of the foam when I was looking, and I'm not so sure if I got the right one or not. So if anybody knows, you can let me know. Anyway, the one that I actually made, and I do have a clip of this, so let me show it to you just here. Hi guys, so here is a little clip of my newly made hanging basket. I'm actually using the voiceover section in iMovie for the first time to record this for you. Hope it works out. So I just wanted to show you how it looks hanging in the basket. So the flowers are all made with a Secret Yarneries design, and I'll talk more about it in a sec. And here she is. So here's what I meant by the hanging baskets I got. Cute, eh? They're just from Michael's. I found them on clearance, 50% off, and a while ago. And so let me get the rope out of the way. And this one is made for a friend who just got a new place, and we are going to visit in a couple weeks. So this is how I did her flowers. And so for the middle flower, I just made it a little bit bigger by doing some extra rounds on the outside and made it nice and sort of ruffly at the top. I just did that on my own, winging it. But the rest of the flowers are from Chris at the Secret Yarnery, except for these fuzzy ones. And let me see if I find one for you, and I'll grab it. One sec. So here's my bag of tricks. And I have a few things in here. So first of all, for the most part, hubby cut down for me the skewers in half. So these are the ones I still have left that will be going back in my baskets once I'm done making them. I want more colors for ours. And this is what I started making as well. So first the bigger 2. I started using some of my faux fur yarn and still making a flowery type thing. So you know when you're driving around and you see out in the wild, you see a lot of the stuff looks kind of this textury stuff. And I couldn't really figure out a way of making it long and flowy and having it on a skewer. So I did these little puffy ones instead, and hubby said that they look good. I still put in buttons in the middle to secure them. And so these ones were done held double with a big hook. And actually I changed the hook size. So let me walk you through it in a sec, but it doesn't matter which size I do that on. And so here are some of the single stranded ones, and I'll just hold them together so you can see the difference in size. So these are 2 strands held together, and this is just 1 strand of the faux fur. And for the basket beside me here, I made it in some teal as well. I'm not gonna pick it up again. You get the idea, right? And all I did was I chained 6, and then I took sort of 4 hook sizes in a row. So for the chain 6, I did a 7, 8, 9, and 10. And so I just started doing single crochets inside the circle until it got to be starting to get difficult to do it with the smaller hook. And then I went up a hook size. So I went from 7 to 8 to 9 to 10, and you're kind of just really reaching in and out of that hole, and the hole is closing in a little bit. It doesn't close in entirely, which is fine. And I was just winging this as I was doing it, and I just liked how they turned out. So then I did the same thing, but I went way down, right? So I started with like a 5, 6, 5, 5.5, 6, and 6.5, I think is what I did for this one. Just to go up and continue to make them. They're cute, and I like them, and I like the idea of having some textured looking things in there. And I had seen Kim from Kim's Crochet and Knits, hi Kim, was doing these lavender ones, and I thought, well, what if I use the same idea of the lavender but as greenery for the baskets? So this one is blowing out a bit. It is a spring green color, but it's not as bright as it's showing on camera. And this one is called Eucalyptus. It's a monster ball from Tent Sale from Spinrite. This one is Bernat Premium. Basically, I followed what Kim said to do for the lavender, but I used it with the green colors instead. And you can just keep pushing these around and getting them the shape you want them to be. I think I'm actually gonna try making some in a similar color to this. I wanted to make it out of this, but you just can't see your stitches enough to be able to do it. But not have it go down in the sizing, because you start with a smaller number of chains and you work to a larger number of chains to get that shaping. I'm going to try to do some that are all one width around. So like basically if you just cut it off there and looked at the bottom portion, because you see those out in the wild too, right? I'm just trying to think of things that look fairly realistic, but present a bit more options for a neutral palette for these baskets. And just playing around and having fun and doing it when I feel like it. If it's not fun, I put it away for a few days. So these are the only ones that have stayed on full skewers, and I've kept a bunch of those. But because he cut them all for me, it means that I have twice the number of skewers that I had already painted green than I did before. So yay. I just have to be a little bit careful with these because they do peel and splinter quite a bit. And it's very fine when that happens, so just heads up. These are just barbecue skewers from the dollar store, the bamboo style ones or the wood style ones. And I just have my basket going here. I have a few centers that I've already secured, and I'll just make the flowers right onto there, and then we'll go around and see what happens. I'm planning to make a whole bunch in this neutrally color for our baskets as well. And yeah, so hopefully soon I'll have my window baskets done, and I am pleasantly surprised with how that turned out, and I hope my girlfriend will like it a lot. Okay, let's go on to another thing. So hubby is continuing with his perler beading. He is having a lot of fun doing it. He is shinvirtuality on Instagram if you want to check him out. He's not doing this on YouTube because his YouTube channel was geared towards gaming, gameplay. But yeah, he's still the same handle, shinvirtuality. I'll spell it out so that it's in the description box in case that makes it easier. But one of the games he was really into for a while was Kirby, and I just couldn't resist trying to make him a little Kirby. So here's my version of Kirby. There is a tutorial linked in the description box below, and I'm not sure how my size Kirby turned out in terms of how it's supposed to be. It's a lot smaller than I was thinking it was going to be. Now this octo that's always with us on these videos is made with 6-weight yarn, so it's bigger, but this turned out a lot smaller than the octos I'm used to making with regular 4-weight yarn. And this is just scrap yarn that I had from Cambridge Fibers tangled bag, so it was already kind of beaten up, so I filled him with this pink just to make sure no stuffing would show. And then I just made the little feet and arms. I didn't really even use a tutorial for that. I just kind of winged that part myself. I used safety eyes because I knew I wasn't going to be able to make the eyes. They do have blue around them. And then he chose how he wanted the mouth. He wanted a small mouth that looked like that. So I'm not very versed in Kirby, but I couldn't resist trying to make him a little present, and he keeps him on his desk, so I think he's fairly happy with him. My little attempt at amigurumi. And I think for the most part, these are kind of going in order. The flowers I have been working on and off, and this basket I was just recently working on this week. But a lot of that stuff took place early in the month, as did this guy. I needed to get something at Walmart. I can't even remember what it was, and I just needed to add something else into my cart to get the free shipping. So I added 2 more plushies, this guy here. And so I made him a Lovey, and there's another one that's gray, and it's kind of nice because the ones I showed you before, they're all very bright colors, like this one behind me, or they're from that one themed thing that Crystal was explaining to me what it is, but they're all part of a thing the kids like. Anyway, I got this guy, and I got a gray one, and there's like pink sparkle in here. So I had this one skein of Red Heart Unforgettable, and I held it with a little bit of that tangled yarn from Cambridge Fibers in the pink. And so it's held double with a bigger hook. And Rose had said she's been making them like this and that it would still work out. So I think I just did a little bit of a reduced stitch count and went from there. The tutorial that we use for this is from Zelda NRJ3 Hi Z, and it's great. And you can easily make it your own if you need to do something like whole two strands double. But it's a great tutorial, so thanks Z for that. And I think this little lady looks awfully cute. Let me see if I can just show you the stuffy as well. Oh, isn't it adorable? Look at the paws. Anyway, these are fun, and because they're easy to do, it's easy for me to make at least one a month, especially in the warmer weather. But had a couple of larger projects not come up this month, I probably would have made more Loveys, because I would like to have all of those ready for the fall in case we do do a little craft fair or something like that. Hubby and I are thinking of doing a craft fair in the fall together. Anyway, let's see what else I've got here. This here, you can barely see me pointing at it. This here is a wrap. So I will pop in a small video here as we're talking. It's very short, but anyway, you can see it all laid out at least. And basically this is all scraps continuing on from the beginning of the year when I made the rainbow blanket. I'll pop up a picture here of the rainbow blanket. And then I made this child's poncho. And then I made this Tia poncho for whoever wants it, but it's not a child size is the point. And then I made the mitered blanket. All of these were the same grouping of yarn. So I had Caron Simply Soft, Tencel Soft Worsted, some Patons Canadiana, and a one-off skein here or there that was also a thin worsted size 4 yarn. And so this scrap is basically the bulk of what was left over. And I am currently hiding things on myself. I am currently literally working out the last little bit of my scraps into scrunchies. So I have these guys from the last couple of days. Whoa. So a couple of purple scrunchies and a bunch of brown ones. And they are really nice in that style of yarn, but the hook size is important. I was using a 5mm hook when I made the purple ones and it was no big deal whatsoever. The brown yarn hated that hook. I went to a 5.5 and all of a sudden it was just flying by. So for these, for the most part, all I do is cover the elastic with single crochets and then make sure they're nice and tight in there so that when I pull the elastic, there's not too many gaps. And then I go back into each single crochet with 2 double crochets. Sometimes I like to play around, and on one of these I was doing like a double and then a treble in the next one in the same stitch just to give a little texture. But the general pattern I originally learned from Jayda and Stitches. I think it's the way I'm doing it. I think she started with single and then doubles. I can't be 100% sure. It's been so long. Now I just kind of do what I want. But I will link the tutorial just in case it's helpful to you. And there's still a few colors in here that are really tiny little bits, so I will make those into scrunchies and when I feel like it, on and off. But back to the wrap. So this is a wrap. I don't think I even said that. I haven't done the twirly thing yet. I'll see if I can do that before the end of the video, or when I'm done the video, but like to attach to the end of the video. I really wanted to make a rectangular wrap and I'm happy how it turned out. Let me see if I move this, if I can just... What's here right now, why there's something it's lying on, is we moved our fan over into this corner for the summer because it's just a nicer place to have it in the room for it to cool us down. But anyway, so yeah, a rectangular wrap, and all of the yarn in it was from all the scraps from all those projects I talked about, except for the border. The border is just this black sparkle that I had already started to use on other projects this year. And I still have the, going back to the Tencel soft worsted to make the cool like colors. So I just had to make sure I had enough. And I added a little bit more on the end of the border than I did all the way around the outside. But yeah, I'll try to do a little, I'll try to model it a little bit how I want it to be. But there's one caveat to that. I still might turn this into a poncho. I've never made that style of poncho where you basically make a rectangular fabric and fold it in such a way and sew it together. So much so that I don't even know if I'm saying that right because I've never followed a tutorial at all or even looked at it. I've just seen pictures of them. So I still might try and turn that into that, or it may stay a wrap. I haven't decided yet, but as the wrap, it's done. So for the corner to corner stitch on this, I was doing a bit of a variation. So instead of chaining 6, I was chaining 5. And instead of chaining 3 for each block, I was only chaining 2. And it shortens them a little bit, makes them pop out a little bit more and gives them some nice texture. I was using a 6 or a 6.5mm hook on this. If I can find a picture with the yarn when I was making it, I'll fill it in at the bottom which one it was for sure. But this has been done for a while and it did take a while too. But I'm super happy to get all those colors in there, and basically I was just spreading around the colors I had a lot of, and certain colors are only made it in there once depending on how little amount there was. This is a good example here, the navy blue and the green. Anyway, it is just a scrappy, fun, warm, cozy, and soft wrap. If you have any questions, let me know. So just before the scraps got to such a level that they were only worthy of scrunchies, I made a couple of hats, regular winter hats with the yarn. So for this one, it was the dark purple with the denim-y purple, and then the light purple. The denim is throughout, and then come back with the dark purple at the very bottom. I could put this on, but I'm not going to. It's still a little bit smaller than I would like for me to be wearing it. And also it's warm in here today, and it's a winter hat that's double stranded. So nice big hook. I think I used a 9mm hook for this, and I just did, I just was fooling around. I didn't follow a pattern at all. So there's some holes in there, and then there's some texture in that part, and then back to sort of a 2-stitch idea here with some opening. And then always I like to put the textured post borders on my hats. So that's one of them. I'm running out of places to put things. Which one did I do next? I think this one. So this is more of a child's hat, or it might fit Debbie. No, it's a child's hat. So we have the very light, it's blowing out, but a very light aqua there, the light purple, then the deeper teal color, and then or deeper aqua color, and then the denim-y purple color, which I thought was a cute pattern. I did go into the spiral, so I did the crown in this aqua color, and then I moved into the spiral in the purple. And then when I came out of the spiral, I decided to do like that 2 double crochets, but no chain, skip 1, 2 double crochets all the way around, and then just work, when I joined it, just work back into that same spot so that I could work into the gaps rather than continue on top of those 2 double crochets. And also it hides any kind of join. So that's another strategy I use. Sometimes I'll use like V-stitches or something that has a chain to accomplish that same thing, because when you join there and you can work back into that spot, it doesn't really show any sort of seam. So I'll just spin it around for you. Hopefully you can see it, but there's no seam showing. I can show you where I went into the spiral because there's a jog for that, but it's very minimal. Ooh. Very, very minimal there, but it's only because it's going from single crochets to half doubles to doubles. There's a tiny jog for that, but yeah, anyway, I like the quest to not have a seam on a hat that you're joining, and also not have to stay in the spiral to accomplish that. So I just play around with stitches that are friendly for doing that. So there's another little scrap hat for that. And then I made a divine hat. This one, I used the tiniest little bit of navy blue at the top, but I'm gonna put a pom-pom on there anyway. And then the rest of the hat is the purpley color with the black, which was the last little bit of the Simply Soft, the red, the denim, and then this is the black sparkle that I was using in the wrap and a couple of other things. That's that hat, and it's gonna get a pom-pom, so that's a good small adult tween size hat. I had to pull out the divine pattern again, but I've linked the tutorial from Fiber Spider in the description box, but I just grabbed my pattern as a free pattern that I've had for a long time. And yeah, it's fun. Here's another bit of a tale of woe. I had an idea for a project that I wanted to make. This is not gonna show the best because I'm wearing blue, and so is the couch. Anyway, I'll just have to hold it like this. I had an idea of something I wanted to make, and I wanted to make a bunch of different colors, so I thought I would use this specific yarn Crystal had gifted me. All these tiny little guys, and you can see what it says on it, right? So Karen Dishy Sky Blue. I've never heard of Karen Dishy. There is a different Dishy cotton out there. Some of you may have had it. I've never had it. It's, I can't remember who it's by. But this is strange, this cotton. It's very strange. And because it's just obviously a made up label, I'm pretty sure this came from Cambridge Fibers, but it was gifted to me by Crystal. So I'm not all that comfortable to just ask Carrie about it right now. But also, I don't even know if she'd remember, right? But here's another one. Here's just the label part. And then here's I ended up winding this one up into a little cake because it wasn't cooperating to pull from the inside. And so here's the little swatch of that one, as if you're gonna make a dishcloth. But look at this. super stretchy. So weird, because I don't know, I've had some cottons that had 15% polyester in them before and they weren't that stretchy. 10 stuff that tends to get stretchy has nylon in it, but I don't know, like it's stretchy and it's bumpy. It's not smooth. And it wasn't that fun to work with, which is the only reason it's kind of a down, because I mean, for what I had in mind for this, it doesn't look bad, but it was not fun to make at all. So kind of back to the drawing board on this as well, in terms of two things. If I want to continue with this project, what cotton I'm going to use instead, and what I would end up doing with all of these guys. I don't know, it's weird. It's bumpy. I don't know, it's so weird. Let me know if you have any idea what it could be, because obviously it's kind of like almost mill ends, right? I have a couple of clips to show you about the rug that's been right here throughout the podcast, and here they are now.
Hey everyone, just doing a real update on my triple stranded rug that I'm going to be showing you, and catching up on some YouTube. I wanted to show you all the yarns because it'd be easier to do it this way than try to dig them all out when I record my video. So there's a tent sail monster ball. There is a Bernat cozy style. Gonna go closer to get a little bit better of the actual colorway, maybe a smidge brighter than that. There is this fun Bernat premium in the colorway Peacock, which is probably gone these days. There's not a lot of variegated Bernats around. It's always been a different version of premium than the regular Bernat premium, but it's still a nice yarn. And then these Ogos I got on clearance for like $3.34, woot. And I have this ice yarn that I've used before. I had two 400-gram balls of it. That they have them in skeins. They were on clearance a long time ago too. I haven't done an ice yarn order in 2 years at least. And that's it's showing more blue than it actually is. It's a smidge more turquoise than that. Anyway, the sun will do what the sun will do. And here we are in terms of the pattern. So I'll move that out of the way for a sec. So I basically am showing you the second section here. You can see this little fuzzy stuff here, which I'm going to talk about in a sec. But the pattern I'm using is 2 rows of double crochet, 1 row of single crochet. So I get these little sets of 2, so I can count fairly easily. And once I get to 12 rows of double crochet, I'm ready to do this little divider section. And it's giving me 12 inches. So 12 inches plus this little fuzzy. I'm shooting for a 5x5 rug, which is what was requested. So 60 inches by 60 inches. And here is this fun faux fur yarn. I think I got the label here. There we go. So I had one in like a beigey color that I've used to trim hats and stuff before. And then I was gifted 2 of these in a swap. So they are coming in handy in this project. And I had originally got the idea of using it as part of the border. And then I thought, well, let's separate out my little sections here and throw a little bit of this fun stuff in here too. Everything's triple stranded. And the sections will look slightly different, so I'll see how much of it I can get on camera so far. I'm just completing the second section, and there will be, I hope there'll be 4 sections plus a border. So this little fuzzy row here will come in 3 times, and then it will be all the way around the outside. So fun to get to use a monster ball. That should be able to last through the entire project. And what I'm doing with the Ogo and this is just getting held until it runs out. These are both 141 grams. But with this one, as I go through the color changes, so basically the fun part of the striping is that the Ogo is going to decide where it stops and starts. But every time I get through a full color change of the Ogo, I'm inserting sort of a row and a half or so of this, depending what stitch I'm on, if I'm on single or if I'm on double. And it just pulls that teal color in throughout, and it makes this one last longer than this one. And then I get sort of 2 rows of double crochets at the end before the fuzzy starts that are this one with this one and this one. It's just you kind of have to have a plan of attack All that was requested was teals, and I'll pop up some pictures in the actual video to show you the area that this is going to be going in. My friend already has several rugs that I've made her before. It was her complete idea to turn blankets into rugs, which I love, although I am struggling with the triple stranded. Anyway, yeah, so more about it in the video, and I wanted you guys to get a close-up of the yarn and a close-up of the stitches and how it's all looking, and then you'll get a different view in the video. Okay, back to our regularly scheduled programming.
Okay, so you got the idea of what's going on there. Next month, when I podcast, it will be done. I have to have this done. It's going to somebody on the 15th of July. So I have a hard stop on that project, and I'm literally halfway done. Well, okay, I'm halfway done the body, but then I'll have to do the border after. So I guess technically a little less than halfway done. But I just try to work on it sort of not every day so that I don't bother my arm too much. But yeah, 3 strands is very, very difficult. I just feel like I'm pulling the whole time, and it's difficult. Anyway, I wish it wasn't, because they work up so fast otherwise. But yeah, I'm very happy with how the colors are coming together, and I'm looking forward to laying it out at the end and seeing what kind of a pattern it looks like it has. I'm hoping there's enough randomness that there's not too much of a pattern, but we'll see. I'm sure she's gonna like it regardless, and she wanted it to be a surprise, and you heard about what she asked for, so that's it on that one. And I think we're down to the sort of finish line here. I got a couple of last things. I have restarted the shawl that I was making with the, I'm gonna forget the name of this yarn now, Nordica Premier Nordica yarn. I was trying to do a rectangular mesh shawl, but instead I had saved a video that Donna from Sunshine LeClaire sent me of a stitch that she does regularly. She calls it Offset Granny. It's similar to the Drunken Granny, and then I modified it slightly as well for it to be even a little bit lacier. But I'll try and link both of those in the description box of this video if I can. But I just wanted it to be nice and lacy and open for summer, and I think because it's acrylic and I can just pull it on the 2 ends, I should be able to block it out without too much trouble and get it to stay afterwards. But I'm about half a skein in, I would say. Maybe not quite half a skein in. It's hard to tell. I have not ripped the other one out yet. I just decided to start the new skein, and I still have the other one in the bag, but I'll keep going on this. It's not something I'm gravitating towards. Like, it's like, oh, I can't wait to work on that. That's not how I'm feeling about this at all. I love the stitch, and the yarn is very pretty. And I think that there will be enough variation in it that it won't look too patterny. It's actually showing you pretty true. I mean, some of the darker spots are seeming a little darker than they look in real life, but we'll see how it works up. And then the other part will be what it looks like when the second skein goes in, if the pattern starts to go wonky or not. But I'll see how that goes once I add it in. So I think it's gonna stay a wrap. We'll see. We'll see if I have to turn it into something else. But yeah, I'm liking to work on it. It's a mindless project. Whenever I just want to grab something and not have to think about it, I can grab this. So this one will go definitely into July, if not longer. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see what other things come up. I was not expecting to have to make a rug in June, so you never know, right? Okay, so we talked about this bag last time because I had grabbed it to grab the strap, which is right here, and use it on the most recent market bag I made. And I decided right when I saw it, I was like, oh, I gotta make one in cotton. And then I made one in cotton, and I don't love it. I like it, but I don't love it. So let's see what you guys think. Here she is. So similar idea. I thought I was putting more black. I don't know, this one looks more black to me. But I thought I was putting more black in this one because I actually started all the squares with black. But basically I picked out a bunch of cottons. The black is that Willow Yarns cotton that I have, because that's what I have in black cotton these days. Still working through that. I had almost all of them are Handicrafter, or not Handicrafter, in a variety of colors, except the one that looks kind of a denim-y blue color. That came in a Mary Maxim mystery box, and I don't believe it was 100% cotton. It might have been It might have had some polyester in it. And originally I was thinking maybe that's what the other cotton could have been, because it was a weird name I'd never seen before, but it's not. I remember from working with this on other projects, it worked up very differently than that supposedly Carindishie stuff. And if someone has heard of Carindishie and I'm wrong, please let me know, because I've searched it and I cannot find anything close to that whatsoever. Anyway, here's my bag again. Tangent. And yeah, so I'll put the strap on. So that's the whole point of having a strap that you can move from bag to bag, right? So one side, I just want to make sure that when I do this corner here, when I come back around, the single crochets are nice and thick there in the corner. There's no like just a chain or anything like that. And that way you're not gonna have any issues. And there. And then this is adjustable, right? So it just will do whatever it wants. But just back to the bag, I did find where I originally talked about the first one. This one's made of acrylic. There was a picture that I posted. So I linked the video that I talked about when I made this bag in the description box of this video. And when I'm talking about it, there's a picture that I found somewhere, and that's what inspired me to make the bag. The picture does not include the small squares. That's just something I had done. And so now I have done it again. So essentially you make 3 large grannies and you make 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 small ones. It was really funny because I knew I had to make 2 of each color, and I was gonna go the light in the center and then the dark in the center and switch the colors for each of them. But I forgot that for the colored ones here, I had to make 2 of each. So anyway, on this side of the bag, it's the light center and the dark outside for all of them. And on this side of the bag, it is the dark center with the light outside for all of them as well. And then on the various corners here, you just make a plain black, or I have chosen to just make a plain black one. And then you have that. So it's nice, but now I have to make a decision, because remember how I said I'll have to put a strap on whichever one I'm not keeping between the one I made last month and the one I made this month. I don't know which one I want to pick now. Anyway, it's nice and big. I'll be interested to see if it is any different having it made out of cotton and acrylic. Like obviously this one should be way more stretchy, but I was already using a purse organizer in this anyway, so I'll have to see how I feel about that. And I don't know, I guess if I was making it again, I might go for more colors, and I might actually go for even more black. But I don't know. I like it on camera now that I've had, you know, a bit of a break from seeing it all the time when I was making it. But I kind of wish that the join part was a little bit thicker black than it is. Oh well, is what it is what it is. So I think that'll wrap it up for the month of June. I want to say Happy Canada Day to all my Canadian friends. We are celebrating Canada Day on July 1st, which is Saturday. And then right after that, all of our American friends are going to be celebrating Independence Day on July the 4th. So happy July 4th to all of you as well. Summer is here, and going into July, all I have planned right now is to continue working on the things I was already working on. I had started to pull out other modular projects like my Mighty Malaminute blanket, and I didn't get to touch it. So we'll see. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't even come close to starting the shrug I wanted to make. And I'm also deciding whether or not I want to do that with that yarn, because I'm worried I might run out. I have a specific yarn in mind. And I also have a black tank top that I had looked up how to put sleeves on, and I found a neat little tutorial from Nastasia down a Wolf. And so I might try that with that black yarn, but we'll see. Just gonna let July come and go as it does. Anyway, guys, I hope you're all doing well. Have a great day and happy crochet. Bye for now.
It's me again. This is just a little, I don't know, frustration, reality. You decide what you want to call it, but always, always, always check your knots. I would say 99.5% of the time, I completely retie in the knotted strands of yarn that are found in a skein. See how frayed that was? You know, you might be tempted to just trim that off and, you know, work over the knot. Well, the knots are not secure. And this is like Burnout Premium variegated yarn called Peacock that's going into this rug I'm making. But in the Care and Simply Soft I've been working with so much lately, there's been all kinds of tiny knots where like only certain strands of the yarn were knotted together on the sides, and it's terribly frustrating because it's still not safe to leave. Anyway, that took me like 2.5 seconds to take that out with a darning needle, and now I'm just gonna knot it down here properly so that I can leave in those ends. Not worth it, not worth it coming undone later, and it's very frustrating, as I'm sure you guys are mostly aware.